When it comes time to shop for a mortgage based on just rates, forget service, right? All you care about is getting the best price possible. Let's talk about how we can identify it and get it for you. My name is Daniel Fischpan with Fischpan Mortgage. Let's rock and roll. So here's the shortcut answer. Every time you get a quote from a lender, there's 4 pieces of information that you want to give them. Ballpark credit score, that you're buying a primary, secondary, or investment property. How much down payment do you plan on putting down? And what is the loan value? With those 4 pieces of information that you give to every lender, it's the same information, you can start getting apples to apples quote. So let's talk about the first lender, which we're going to use Rocket Mortgage. We're going to use Bank of America as a second lender. We'll use Fischpan Mortgage as a third lender. We'll compare quotes, see how they present to you the quote, and how you can identify, which one is the best one. So today is November 15th, 2023, and Rocket Mortgage on their purchases have a 30-year fixed for 7.5%. Now, before we dig deep into this specific rate, let's talk about the apples to apples here. So this little asterisk, let's scroll down here, click on this, view legal descriptions. So what are the assumptions, the 4 things that I told you about? Well, they're assuming a credit score of 740. They're assuming a loan amount of $275. And they're also assuming 20% down, or the inverse of that is a loan to value of 80. If you were to put down 10%, the loan to value would be 90. Okay, so we have our information. It's also for a primary here. So there's 2 ways to compare rates, right? There's the basic way, which we could look at APR, and then there's a little more of an advanced way that we're going to go over as well. So let's go over the basic one first. So we hit Rocket Mortgage's website, and they're saying today, November 15th, 2023, Rocket is offering 7.5%, and the APR is 7.803. So what's the difference, right? 7.5% is the actual interest you'll be paying on your mortgage. The APR bakes in all of the expenses associated with getting that mortgage as well. So now that we provided Rocket with the 4 pieces of information, the mortgage amount, what percent we plan on putting down, our ballpark credit score, and that is going to be for a primary residence, we can take those 4, share it with every other lender, and now say at 7.5%, what is your APR? And now you can compare apples to apples. If they say that the APR is higher than 7.803%, then they're more expensive. And if they said the APR is lower than 7.803%, then they're cheaper. So that's a very simple, basic way to compare apples to apples. Now, let's go dig a little deeper and say, okay, you're cheaper, but how much cheaper? Like, how much money am I actually saving by going with you versus you? So that's where we're going to talk about points. 1 point represents 1% of the loan amount. So here they're saying, we can get you 7.5%, no problem. But at closing, you're going to pay an additional $5,156.25 for the privilege of getting 7.5%. So let's do the math on that to see that it lines up. So we take the loan amount of $275,000 and multiply it by the points, which is 0.01875. And there you have it. You have your cost of $5,156.25. So now let's look at our next lender, Bank of America. With Bank of America, we're going to apply the same 4 variables. This is for a primary residence. The purchase price is the same. The down payment is the same because you could see the base loan amount of $275. And if you notice, it would be nice if they gave us 7.5, but they don't. They give us 7.75, and they're saying, we can get this for you with a points of 0.612. You cannot compare APR of one with an APR of another if it's not the same rate. That's not comparing apples to apples. So what you can do is simply call Bank of America and say, hey, Bank of America, I see your rate is 7.75%, but if I wanted to buy down the rate to 7.5, what's the APR? And if the APR is higher than Rocket Mortgages, they're more expensive. It's that simple. And now let's compare Rocket with Fischpan Mortgage. before we begin, I'm going to input the same information. It's the same purchase price, the same loan amount, the same 20% down, so we get our LTV of 80, the same credit score. And now I do want to compare apples to apples with Rocket, so I'm going to put a desired rate of 7.5%, and I'm going to run it. Now, one of the nice things about being a mortgage broker is that I have over 20 different lenders to pick from. So sometimes a lender that has the best pricing for 7.5% might not be the same lender that has the best pricing for 7.25%. So let's see who the best lender is at 7.5% today. And the answer is a company called Flagstar. Flagstar is saying, hey, we can get you 7.5%. The APR is 7.573. So that's lower than Rocket Mortgage. But again, nominally, how much cheaper is Fischpan Mortgage? The answer is, to get 7.5%, it's going to cost you $1,865. So it's $3,291.25 cheaper. And that's the more advanced way to compare apples to apples when doing a mortgage quote. When I give my clients a quote, I like to give them multiple rate options, one of them always being what the rate would be if they paid no money out of pocket, and 4 other rate options if they chose to buy down the rate. Here we have the principal and interest payments, as well as the estimated total payment, including taxes and insurance. What is not included is HOA. Thank you so much for your time. If you found value in this video, I'd appreciate a subscribe and a like, and we'll talk soon.